James Lones, thank you for joining me today. Excited about this wine. This is Villa Sandi Il Fresco Prosecco DOC Rosé Millesimato 2020 vintage. Stay tuned, I'll tell you about this beautiful Prosecco Rosé wine. So it doesn't look just beautiful, it is fantastic. And so this is a really wonderful category. I think people are excited about this, especially in 2021. We need some good news and good times to be created in the future. And to me, this is a nice wine to enjoy, and it's an affordable luxury, something to enjoy quite often. In fact, I have a glass of wine, sparkling wine, once per week. If I could have it every single day, I definitely would do that. So to me, I think this is a really fantastic producer. I'll put the Prosecco review I've done right up here in the cards for you to look at. I think Villa Sandi does a fantastic job on all their sparkling wines, amazing quality, and I think it's really nice to see that they have consistency in terms of how they produce their wines and a distinctive point of the house, if you will, in terms of how they do produce wines, brut style wines, and I think it's a really nice characterization. So let me show you the label up close. And so it's a nice elegant package. I think it really shows off and highlights a beautiful Prosecco Rosé provenance and approval, which happened release of this year. So the name is actually a lengthy name, but definitely has to have each component in there to identify it as a rosé or Prosecco Rosé wine. 2020 vintage, which is also unusual in terms of, say, Prosecco in general. And so you can see right here that says that this is a brut wine, and loveliness and experience. A nice package because it's clear. It's a rarity for me to see the color almost exactly what I see on in person here on the screen to match as well. So very nice pale colorization, and it's going to line up very nicely. When you look at the Vino Spumante Italia category, it's a different category. And these wines are, you can have anything in terms of, say, the red wine that creates the rosé colorization. In this DOC, you have to have, say, 85 to 90% of this is going to be Glera, so the Prosecco grape, and 10 to 15% of this has to be Pinot Nero, Pinot Noir. And so that's really going to give the colorization and the beauty of the wine. That's also giving you, in terms of, say, a level playing ground, so you don't have to compare this Spumante to this other region Spumante, because a lot of Italian regions, DOCs, have Spumante. And so you're going to find that while they do have some similarities, they don't always have the same bona fide rules. And that's what a DOC is all about, is to create those rules. And they're not to create rules to put handcuffs on, the winemaker. It's really to, have consistency and quality. And you can still do things differently in terms of house by house. We'll do different distinction points, because all Rosé Prosecco or Prosecco Rosés are not going to taste the same, as well as Prosecco in general. So here's a picture of Villa Sandi. You can look at their website down below. Absolutely stunningly beautiful, gorgeous, almost that Palladio vision, architecture style. Absolutely stunningly beautiful. So the region is obviously in the Veneto and Friuli Venezia Giulia. So the soils are going to be mainly marl soils with alluvial rich components in the subsoil. So that's one of the markers for the soil content of the wine grapes themselves. And so let's talk next about the vinification of this wine. Now, the vinification of this wine, whole white grapes are put into a pneumatic press for a soft pressing, and the resulting must, after first racking, is put into controlled temperature tanks where it remains until it is used for the production of sparkling wine. Now, the red grapes, Pinot Nero, after pressing, are put into tanks where a soft maceration for extraction of color and a few tannins takes place at a controlled temperature of 22 to 23 degrees centigrade, which is approximately 71 to 73 degrees Fahrenheit. At the same time, aromas are enhanced. Now let's talk about this wine in terms of the scent characterization as well as a palate characterization. When I took this out of the refrigerator, it was actually too cold, and I just wanted to warm this up just a bit. So the aromas are not going to be fully awoken, if you will, if it's too cold. And you definitely want those molecules to move around just a bit, warm up, so they can express themselves as they should. Nose of mountain strawberry, freshly roasted pine nuts, moist seashells, and brioche notes. Next is the palate characterization. So I definitely taste a lot of Prosecco. The Prosecco that I do taste are definitely extra dry. Yes, you have a whole range that it can be in, but ultimately when I taste this wine, It's really nicely expressive, nice dry characterization, fantastic with food, by the way. You can enjoy this on its own, of course, and I think it's going to be a huge hit for the summer season ahead. Beautiful creamy palate here. I love the mountain strawberry note, which is really expressive in terms of a nice fruit note, but not over the top. It's not going to be so stunningly sweet or so fruit intense. It's going to give away to other characterizations that make for a complex wine. So additionally, you get some white stone fruit notes as well as almond, and again the brioche note comes through very nicely and very on a subtle characterization. This wine is 93 points out of 100 points. More information on the producer down below, as I mentioned previously. Check out their site, check out these wines. Questions or comments, please list them down below. Give a like to this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. And if you already have, molto grazie to you. I do appreciate it. And so stick around for more reviews to come. I have many more wines this year in 2021. And thank you again. I will see you in the next video. In between videos, you'll find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and WordPress. So this is a beautiful year for Prosecco Rosé. Stay tuned for more reviews to come and seek out these bottles. In fact, your wine merchant may not have a lot in. I checked out in San Francisco, and some of the wine merchants had very, very few quantities. So only one SKU among, say, 1,200 wines at one particular retailer. So I've seen Villa Sandi, this wine, in the $14 to $18 range. So seek it out. It depends on where you are and if you can even get this online as well. This wine is going to make a fantastic impression upon Prosecco drinkers. It did for me, and I think you'll very much enjoy this as well. So thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Molto grazie and salute to you.